Welcome back to the next edition episode of Explore the SRV, Exploring the Susquehanna River Valley. I'm Laura Good, your host, and this month I am so excited to welcome to the podcast two outdoor experts. And we love talking about all of the amazing things we have to do recreationally in the Susquehanna River Valley, specifically our gorgeous river. Fun fact, did you know that the confluence of the northern branch and the western branch of the Susquehanna River is ding, 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 right there in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. You can see it from Shikellamy Overlook and look at the beautiful branches of our river coming together and then flowing down to the capital. The two gentlemen joining me today are experts, not only on activities on the river, but also local fishing spots. So welcome to Vince from Angler's Anchor and Steve from Southside Outdoors. How's it going, guys?
Hiya.
Welcome, welcome. Have you ever done a podcast before, either of you?
No.
I have done one prior, yes.
Okay, so how are you feeling? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. Now, Vince, you are a local fishing expert and content creator. So for those who maybe don't follow your channel, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start fishing?
Yeah, so Vince Studer. I live in Sealands Grove on ILQ, and I didn't grow up here. I actually grew up in McVeigh, which was the Juniata. And whenever I became a resident here, I lived right along the Susquehanna. So immediately picked up the rod again. And from just going out and fishing, I realized that there's so much beauty in it. And sometimes you get those random catches that you kind of wish you had a camera because
Yeah.
something happens. So that kind of is what transpired. All of this is I just went out fishing, put a GoPro on, strapped it to myself.
That's
and
awesome.
One thing led to another, and here I am like 4 or 5 years later still doing it. So.
I have to say, one of my favorite spots on the Susquehanna River is actually on the Isle of Q. That walk with all of the benches that you can take, especially in the summer, the sunset's happening. It's so beautiful and peaceful. People who aren't familiar with the Isle of Q, even if you don't live there, I highly encourage you to just go park legally, of course, and just take a walk around because there's breweries and things to do in Sealands Grove, but then it's so gorgeous. I'm a little
Absolutely.
jealous. Not for the flood zone.
No, that's the only downside.
Not for the flood zone. The river on occasion, she gets a little salty, but the Isle of Q is beautiful.
It is.
Now, Steve, you are the proprietor of Southside Outdoors.
Yes.
Tell us
Yes,
a little
I
bit
am.
about yourself and your business.
I'm Steve with Southside Outdoors. I grew up in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, so I've been on the river my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So about 3.5 years ago, I took over Southside Outdoors in Sunbury, the bait and tackle shop. So I own and operate that, and I also guide on the Susquehanna River. So I chase multi-species. Basically, anything that swims in the river, we chase. So
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, that leads me to my next question, and I'll start with you, Steve. The Susquehanna River is one of the oldest rivers in the world.
Yeah.
So even in Danville, there's the eel weir
Yes.
that dates back to like the pyramids. It's very, very old. Indigenous persons from this area of North America use the river as a life source. From your perspective as an outdoorsman and an angler, what makes fishing here so unique? And what are some of those species that you can find in the river?
Well, we have bass, walleye, muskie, catfish.
Okay.
And then we have the rough fish. We have the carp and the suckers. Best part of the river is just the variety. You don't know what you're going to catch. You can catch from a bass to all of them in the same day. Sometimes, and it's a beautiful river. You touched on about like where the weirs are there in Danville.
Yeah.
That's an area I fish quite a bit.
Okay.
You get in that area, there's some secluded areas. And then you can go just a few miles down, you're into the confluence, into the lake area when the lake is inflated.
Yeah, when they inflate the Faber Dam. Yeah.
So you have such a variety in just that area. Then you have the West Branch, like through Lewisburg, another beautiful area, totally different look, excellent fishing. Just just a great area. So much variety, yeah, and wildlife and beautiful. The eagle sightings and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We're blessed. We're in a great area.
It's so interesting. I have the opportunity. I live in Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband and I are avid kayakers. And even driving along the river recently, I've noticed specifically there are multiple mated pairs of bald eagles
Oh, yeah.
that frequent both the Danville area,
Mm-hmm.
the Lewisburg area, and the Sunbury area. And it's almost like there's a resurgence of that type of wildlife because I don't remember that growing up.
No, that's growing up on the river. It's changed. I mean, I've seen a lot of changes in the years since I've been on it. Yeah, much cleaner, it's beautiful. Yeah, and only improving. It seems like.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
So now, Vince, from your perspective as an angler, you capture content. So, playing off of what Steve said about all the different varieties of fish that you can capture, what's one of the most unique things that you've caught?
Well, to echo like what Steve said, so I'm primarily a smallmouth bass fisherman,
Okay.
and actually this time last year, fishing for bass, I caught a really nice muskie,
Oh, okay,
really big
cool.
one. So
Yeah.
that's like one of those things. It's a mystery of what you're going to catch, and sometimes it can be your personal best. We call them the PB, and that's I think what every angler is striving for.
Of course.
But yeah, it's just smallmouth bass for sure. Like I said, that's my forte. That's what I'm after. I mean, just pound for pound, fight for fight. They're just an amazing fish to catch. And the river's just loaded with them here in the Susquehanna. I think that's what attracts actually a lot of the anglers is the abundance of smallmouth that we do have.
As somebody who I am on the river quite frequently, especially during the warmer months, I've noticed the comparison between kind of the West Branch and the North Branch. It's so different from spot to spot, and people wouldn't anticipate that, right? Like even up near Milton, there's all these little like offshoots that you can kind of kayak up, and it's really like quiet and serene. But then you get down to where there is the Faber Dam, and it's Lake Augusta. And it's one of the only Faber dams in the nation. I don't think people realize how unique it is that we inflate this thing every year and create a lake on an active river. But from both of your perspectives, and Vince, you can go ahead and start. What are some of the unique corners of the Susquehanna right here in our river valley?
Oh, like you said, that fiber dam above it and below it, those are great spots. And yeah, I don't think people know that that's the largest inflatable dam, and we have it right here in our backyard.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, but like you said too, I mean, just getting out and exploring. I mean, I've found some pretty cool spots just by trying to switch it up. I mean, as anglers, we know spots that work, but you want to get out and explore. And yeah, from right here to Sealands Grove to Lewisburg, I just try to obviously not trespass on property because I bank fish a lot. But yeah, get the kayak out and just you'll stumble upon a honey hole, so to speak, and then you just make a little mental note and try to find another one somewhere else.
So now, Steve, from your perspective, you mentioned kind of above the Faber Dam and below, like when it's inflated. Is there a difference between fishing kind of on Lake Augusta and then below Lake Augusta?
Oh yeah, there'll be some changes.
Okay.
Biggest thing is below you have generally quite a bit of current. You have a lot of shelves, a lot of small islands, a lot of grass beds, which is really good variety. And it's actually very, very good habitat because they have so much. And you had mentioned about the West Branch and the North Branch being so different. West Branch runs generally very, very clear.
It does. No, I've noticed that.
yeah,
it's crazy,
very
the
clear.
comparison. Unbelievable.
North Branch is usually very stained.
Yeah.
Long River comes down through the farmlands, so it always has a lot of stain to it.
Okay.
Now, when you get below the Faber Dam, below the confluence, you have two rivers in one. You have a clean side, and then you have the dirty side. Typically, the north side.
Yeah, because of the
more stained
agricultural
side.
runoff and stuff.
So you have two rivers in one. So there that adds, especially like with smallmouth bass, it adds this whole other element of having the tale of two rivers right there. Very beautiful. Very neat.
Oh,
Just
that's
adds
so
a
interesting.
diversity, and cover for them.
So beyond the river itself, if folks are listening to our podcast and maybe they're not from our immediate area, but from outside the area, of course, the Susquehanna River is going to offer amazing fishing experiences. But what other locations can visitors find in our region to fish beyond the river itself?
I think the elephant in the room, Penge Creek. There's a lot of anglers that seek after many species and Penge Creek. I mean, if you go up towards the mountains, you get into the trout.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously down here towards the mouth of the river, you still get the smallmouth. But Penge Creek is through and through a great fishery. You have Middle Creek, you have Buffalo Creek, just other surrounding creeks that aren't right here,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to travel very far to fish them, and they're great fisheries too.
Okay, that's cool. What about you? Any hidden spots, hidden gems?
Well, obviously Vince touched on Penn's Creek, which that is a gem. That's just world famous for trout fishing up high, but then down below you have your warm water species that mix in. Another great one that we have actually in the area is when the lake is up. We talked about that, and
Yeah.
it becomes a lake. People ask me a lot of times, what's the best lake around the fish? They're coming to the area and they don't want to go, say the river's low. It's becomes a little more treacherous to get around. It becomes more friendly for kayaks or people that know the river to boat. But now you have Lake Augusta. It's
Okay.
13 miles long approximately of effect from the Faber Dam. Well, there's your lake. Now you have your
that's
river
interesting.
species in that lake. Easy to fish. If you have a pontoon boat, if you have just a small John boat and you don't want to traverse the actual river, you have Lake Augusta. Fabulous fishing right there. And you have the Fence restaurant you can beach your boat and walk up to. You have a lot of these neat attractions right there in the river. I mean, I'm a big proponent of it. It's the greatest lake, in my opinion, in the area when it's up. And it's up for a good portion of the year.
No, it really is. I have to say, one of my favorite things to do is honestly float down and stop at the fence.
Yep.
Right. So beyond just the attraction of being on our beautiful river, there are some businesses. You mentioned Penn's Creek. Penn's Creek Pottery is like right on Penn's Creek. You could, if you wanted to, you might have to go up through the weeds, but you could, if you wanted to, literally dock, like pull over and visit some unique locations along the river, which is really, really cool. I don't know if you want to disclose one of your personal hidden gem spots on either branch of the river or on any of the creeks that you could share with our listeners. Where would you go, Steve? Like, what's your one spot?
If I had one spot,
One
to,
spot.
to fish. Now again, we're talking basically in the summer. We'll stay that way. That traditional. It would be your backyard,
Oh,
the area above Dan.
oh, in the Eelweer, like that above.
in that area.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
the Danville boat launch is one of my favorites. Now I'm partial to that area because I grew up not far from there.
Sure.
But it's still some of my favorite water to fish. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Especially there's good access to obviously great kayak water
Mm-hmm.
because you can do a float from Bloomsburg to Danville. Or
One
you
of our
can go-
favorites.
Yeah, that's a great one and great fishing. And there is some good wading access if it's in summer and it's warm right there around the Danville Bridge. I'm very partial to that area.
I have to say, too, in terms of access to the river, the two communities you just mentioned, both Bloomsburg and Danville, there are easy official access points where you're not disturbing public or private property, right? You're on public property. There is an official boat launch. You can park your car safely, unload, and then float down the river or kayak or paddle or whatever you're doing. So, all right. I'm partial to Danville, but also I'm right
partial.
there.
Yeah.
I'm right
I
there.
like the North Branch, but not saying I live on the West Branch. I love that branch too, but I'm just there's something about that. Again, you got the eagle, the wildlife. You're kind of that float we just talked about from
Yeah.
Bloomsburg to Danville. You feel like you might hear road traffic, but you're
Not
out.
really.
You're
You're
Yep,
out
it's
there.
not as developed. It's
There is
beautiful.
a difference between the two. What about you, Vince? What do you think?
I would say mine's right there at the ILQ, just because I know it so well. And whether the water levels are low, I kind of know the deeper holes. And clean down to Lake Hoover's Island, where the mouth of the creek
Okay,
comes
yeah.
out right there. And yeah, again, if you're kayaking, you can go all the way down to McKee's Falls. So there's a nice stretch down there below, again, just below the dam. But yeah, if I was stuck and I could only fish one area for the rest of my life,
ILQ?
that would be it. Yeah.
So, in terms of the friendliness of the river, and I don't mean, obviously, our area is incredibly friendly. People are wonderful who live and work here. But if there are families, they have kiddos. I myself have 2 young nephews who really do appreciate doing some catch and release fishing. Now, we've done that mostly either in a private stocked pond or in a private stocked lake. We haven't truly ventured out yet onto the river just because the little one, he's not the best swimmer yet, how family friendly is fishing in the Susquehanna River Valley? And do you have any tips or tricks for folks who have young children and are looking to get started?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I can say I have two boys. One's a 9-year-old. So getting him out, yes. The river, especially like I said, below the dam, the water levels are not crazy. The current's not going to sweep them away. You don't have to worry about that too much. And sometimes it actually gets pretty shallow. And kids, being kids, they like to lift rocks up and try to find stuff, And if you have a boat, another cool thing is the islands. Just
Okay.
if you're done floating and the kids need to stretch their legs or whatever, you just pull up to an island and then you can island explore too.
And there are a ton. I don't know if anyone listening has ever looked at the state resources and maps that are available. The river keepers have maps of islands that you can even reserve to go camping
Yes.
on, right, Steve?
Yeah, there's quite a few campsites. There's a decent amount right around Vince's area of ILQ. Yeah. You see them utilized quite a bit.
It's
People put in
super
camp
cool.
on them. Yeah.
If people are looking to get kids out and started, obviously your business, Southside Outdoors, it's a bait and tackle shop. Folks probably with little kids don't want to spend a ton of money, but it's an accessible hobby to get into.
Oh, yeah. You can come in the shop. You can get a handful of small twister tails, and you can go behind the shop, basically below the dam there. And there's a boat launch and access, and there's the rocks to fish off of. And they're going to have a chance to catch some fish. They definitely will. Yeah, very, very user-friendly. Yeah, beautiful area. Yep.
Excellent. So if somebody was brand new to fishing and wanted to try it here, what are some simple steps to take to get out there and get fishing?
You just need a 6.5 foot light action, medium action rod, some light line, and a handful of twisters.
Okay.
And you get down the bank, you're going to catch fish. I mean, that's how I grew up doing it, and it still to this day works. Pocket full of lures,
Yeah.
couple dollars. Yeah.
And that's
yeah,
it.
there's a lot of, that's the beauty of the river, and you don't know what you're going to catch.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
This is a random question for the two of you, but there are a couple of, this is a little off topic, 5Ks, 10Ks, a half marathon named after the Hellbender, right? Those salamanders
Yeah.
that are in the river. Have you ever seen one?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. And it's pretty common. You'll see through the years, especially on the Selinsgrove side of the Faber Dam, they will surface or somebody will find one or see one. Yeah, there is a few around. I've only seen them a handful of times in my life, but yeah, as a kid flipping rocks, like Vince said, we would come across them occasionally. Yes, I was
cool.
a rock flipper as a child. Yes, I
absolutely.
still am to this day. I think at times.
It's kind of hard not to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just got to see what's underneath there, right?
Yep.
Like I'm a rock flipper and then collector. Even to this day, you're like not supposed to do it. And I've never brought anything home from Hawaii, for example. 1, it's illegal, and 2, it's bad luck. Don't bring home any volcanic rock. Anyway, I'm like that kid and now that adult who like wants a rock, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. I'm gonna take it home, and I have a jar of like random rocks from all over the world. I don't know if that's weird. Like full disclosure, like we have a rock collection as an adult in our 40s.
Yeah. Now my kid's the same way. Every time we go to the river, he's leaving the river with a handful of rocks.
Yeah, because they're pretty.
Yeah,
they look cool. You just line them up on your dresser. Like, look at
Yeah.
my rocks.
You can float along and count golf balls too.
That's
You
true.
always see the golf balls in the river. I'm sure. Have you
Yes.
noticed them? Yes. There's always a yes. We've done that with some young clients I've had out when in between fishing. You'd point out the little stuff. Yeah, the golf balls.
My husband picks them up if it's shallow enough for his shag balls.
Yep.
to
There
to
you
the
go.
range.
Yeah.
We have a bucket, and I don't think we've had to purchase balls in a couple of
Yeah.
years since we got the
There's an
kayaks.
endless supply. It seems like
pretty
I don't
good.
know where
If
they
any-
come from.
If
but-
anyone's running short on golf balls, just float the river.
Float the river. You
Yeah.
can find 100 in a single float. Like it's
Yeah.
really, which leads me to the PSA of this podcast. Don't put trash in the river.
Correct. Yes.
Let's keep our river clean. Vince, over to you. You said specifically that you are a smallmouth bass fisher person.
Yes.
What attracts anglers to the river other than the smallmouth bass? Because I understand the Susquehanna River is really starting to become well known for bass fishing.
Yes. First species that comes to mind, I mean, the fish of 10,000 casts, the muskie. That's a really good one. Walleye too. I mean, walleye anglers, they're diehard, So this river definitely has them. And catfish are a huge thing. More so, I feel like more down in Harrisburg, but
Okay.
I mean, any given time in the summer, you go along the bank of the river, you're going to see people with the rod sitting there waiting to catch a catfish.
Okay. Are we frying up the catfish afterwards or no?
Oh,
I think a lot of people do catch
Really?
them. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't know. I know there's permitting involved, and like I said, a lot of the places that I go fishing with younger family members are kind of a catch and release situation. But I don't know. Catfish is pretty good eating.
Yeah, bow fishing for them too is a growing trend.
Okay.
A lot of people bow fish for them, and I believe they're keeping them and frying them up.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. What other types of species?
Again, the carp's a big one, but it depends on. I think the angler, obviously.
Sure.
Some people want to. I personally want to cast, and I want to retrieve my line back. Some people want to cast and crack a adult beverage and hang out and talk. So it depends on how you want to fish. But to me, like I said, I'm going after like the predatory ones that want to chase, your bait. So yeah, the walleye, like I said, and the muskie and the smallmouth are more so the ones that I go after. But I think, like I said, the catfish anglers are out there. Definitely the carp. And some people even just do like panfish. You can easily catch bluegills, sunfish.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, little sunnies, they're pretty. What about you, Steve? What's your preferred species to catch?
Much like Vince, bass is number one.
Okay.
And then closely followed by, I do enjoy chase muskie. Yes, they're a little, it's the fish of 10,000 casts, so you never know. But it's a trophy species to speak of, yes. So
On average, just out of curiosity, how large is a Susquehanna River muskie? Like a mature adult muskie?
mid 30 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and we see them up into the 40s, and I mean,
Okay.
there's the holy grail 50-inch fish, which is kind of there's a few of them around. I mean, but you
Really?
get it's yeah.
I had no
it's world
idea.
class. I mean,
Yeah.
we're lucky. We're on a really special fishery.
I mean, just from being here and part of the Susquehanna River Valley Visitors Bureau, I have learned so much. But what I'm learning pertaining to the river is that there truly is world-class fishing.
Correct.
Here in our tiny little area. It is world-class fishing. People are coming from all over to fish the Susquehanna River, right?
Yes. Yeah, like I said, I kayak fish. I just actually started getting into kayak fishing last year, which ventured me into kayak tournaments. And there's some big trails that now they're coming to the Susquehanna to fish them in kayak tournaments.
Unbelievable.
And they go nationwide. They go all over the U.S. and they're stopping here in our backyard to fish it because it's that great of a fishery.
We really do live in a resource-rich area, particularly when it comes to outdoor activities.
Yes.
Honestly, it's a wonderful place to live.
Yes.
For anyone traveling or visiting, especially folks who are anglers, who are interested in fishing, if they're planning a visit, what do you think they should know ahead of time? What would you suggest? Seasons, gear recommendations, anything like that?
Well, again, I'd look at when you're visiting because there is some differences for the fishing generally as the year goes on. In our cold season, through summer. But
we had negative temperatures this winter.
Yes, we weren't on the river yet.
No.
We're on the river a lot this winter.
She was slushy, and then she was frozen over.
Correct. Yeah. We're still waiting for the thaw, basically. But if you're coming in the summer, it doesn't take much. Like I said, a pocket full of lures, a nice medium action, short spinning rod, some light line, you're good to go. Some good old tennis sneakers to wade because it can be a little slippery, or something you don't mind getting dirty,
Sure, of course.
But it can be very simple. That's again, like I said, the beauty of it. Yeah.
Truly is. What about you, Vince? Any tips or recommendations?
I think the first thing that pops in my mind is I like to advocate safety. We do have some low head dams here. A lot of people do kayak and tube. So definitely be aware of the dams. It seems like every year there's a horror story about a kayaker going over one. So yeah, just be aware of the dams. Again, get out before the dam, yes, and walk around it. Don't think that you can go over it because one slip or something like that. And those undertows, they're nothing to play with. So definitely safety first. But other than that, yeah, just get out and, like Steve said, grab a rod, a pocket full of lures, and just start casting, and you're guaranteed to have a good time for sure.
Well, as always, gentlemen, we have Vince Stutter, local fishing expert and content creator from Angler's Anchor, and Steve Lowe, new owner of Southside Outdoors. I appreciate your time today and all of the tips, tricks, and just value your expertise in angling on the Susquehanna River. You can listen to this podcast and get more information. Vince, how do people follow you and get in contact with you if they are interested in your content?
Yeah, so great place to start, YouTube, Angler's Anchor, because that's my channel. And then you can follow me on Facebook, Vincent Studer. I just use my personal. And then Instagram is Angler's Anchor as well.
Excellent. And what about you, Steve?
They can check me out at the shop. I'm located in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, right at the Faber Dam. So they can call the shop anytime. Or they can look me up on Facebook. I do have a page under Southside Outdoors.
Excellent. And as always, resources to plan your visit to the Susquehanna River Valley are available at visitcentralpa.org to include all of the locations that we've mentioned for your next fishing experience. Thank you for joining us, Vince and Steve. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll catch you next time. I'm Laura Good, and this has been Explore the SRV.